The once grand rental home on the outskirts of town was silent despite the Arizona sun blazing above Flagstaff. The sound of footfall in the corridor was more distant than normal. With her arms crossed over her chest, Robyn Brown stood by the window, gazing out at the moving truck parked in their cracked driveway. They had run out of time. The polygamous Brown family's proud patriarch, Kody Brown, walked sluggishly around the main room. His eyes were bloodshot from a restless night, and his hair was disheveled. For the third consecutive day, he wore the same flannel shirt. The walls were littered with boxes, some taped shut and others half-packed with ghostly memories. Without glancing at Robyn, he murmured, "TLC isn't renewing anything. We're finished." Robyn winced. However, they suggested a spin-off. "Concerning myself and the children," Kody yelled. "Robyn, they lied. They continued to lead us as usual. It's finished." The words reverberated. Over. No more sister wives. No more checks for TLC. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Not another celebrity. No more delusion of cohesion. Faded glamour and financial ruins, they had overdrawn the bank account. Once more. Robyn's fingers were shaking as she gripped the most recent statement. Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna's child support payments are all behind schedule. The credit card that used to fund all of our Disneyland excursions and shopping excursions was now frozen and maxed out. 2 weeks ago, their auto insurance went into effect. When they couldn't build on Coyote Pass, their rental house had been a stopgap measure, but even that wasn't enough. Late payments were no longer an issue for the owner. There was a sheriff's stamp on the eviction notice when it arrived. They had 30 days. Once protected and indulged, the kids now avoided the conflict. Aurora completely avoided looking at Kody. It had been 3 evenings since Brianna had spoken during dinner. Unable to depend on his once supportive stepfather, Dayton, now an adult, was discreetly seeking for disability assistance. "I'm trying my hardest." During one especially heated dispute, Kody yelled. "No, you're not." Robyn retaliated, her face flushed. "You can't even feed them now that you left your other children for mine." Kody's hands shook. "You dare not put this on me. This castle was everything you wanted. You desired the large home. You desired to be the most popular. Security is what I wanted." Robyn broke down in tears. "Like Meri, I didn't want to be abandoned. Or Janelle. Or Christine." Like curses, the names of the other spouses hung in the air. The children's voices at last. Aurora lost her temper. With a steely voice, she informed Robyn, "I'm no longer a child. This is not how I can live. I can't continue to act like our family is content." Robyn let out a gasp. "What do you mean?" I'm heading out. Aunt Janelle is taking me in." She made the offer. Kody's gaze expanded. "What? Everyone is against me because of that woman," Aurora growled. "She's been a better parent than you have been in months. She has food in her refrigerator, at least." Dayton gave a slow nod. "She is organized, as well as warmth. You two are simply lost. I'm tired of watching you both fall apart and expecting us to carry the weight." "Even the quiet one," Brianna muttered. 2 weeks later, the children departed. Silently. No farewells. Public disgrace. Kody and Robyn were photographed with jewelry as they left a pawn shop in Flagstaff. Within hours, TMZ published the pictures. The headline said, "Robyn and Kody Brown pawning wedding rings and broke?" Reddit became viral. Old fans made fun of them. Critics referred to it as karma. Janelle wrote, "Thankful for the ones who show up," alongside a picture of her grandchildren grinning at a cookout. Regardless, Christine posted a video of her happy, bright, remarried life in Utah. "Meri too? When you build your future on someone else's promise, you'll always end up homeless, emotionally and financially," she said cryptically as she went live from her new bed and breakfast. Everyone was aware of the person she was referring to. The room at the motel. They were now in a rundown motel outside of town. Just one room. Just one bed. When used, the microwave ignited. Kody was sitting on the bed's edge, looking at a Bible from a motel. His jaw was clenched and his face was haggard. "This is not how I expected it to end." Robyn stood with her arms at her sides, limp, next to the restroom. Her hair was frizzed out and her makeup was smudged. She said, I thought you were our salvation. You assured us that we would be looked after, that God intended for us to be together." Kody remained silent. A thunderstorm cracked outside. The rain pelted the windows as if the cosmos itself were lamenting the demise of an illusionary country. They had nothing. No house. No family is prepared to save them. No cash. No assistance. Just one another. And that didn't seem sufficient anymore. Robyn's last-ditch request to TLC the smell of mildew and burnt popcorn filled the dim motel room. Robyn's laptop rested atop a pile of unpaid invoices as she sat cross-legged on the drooping mattress. She had revised the emails 17 times, and her finger was hovering above the send button. Subject: Robyn rebuilt, a possible spin-off of Sister Wives. She was putting herself out there. By themselves. She informed TLC execs in the email that she was prepared to speak her truth. She provided an honest, unvarnished glimpse of her current life, including the costs of being the chosen wife, the fallout from favoritism, and the strain of family dissolution. She even included pictures. In front of the motel sign, a selfie. An unguarded photo of her sobbing beside a partially occupied U-Haul. A still from one of her earlier confessionals, when she wore confidence like armor and had her hair done. She pressed the send button. After that, they waited. Hours went by. Nothing. Just an ambiguous auto-reply. "We appreciate your reaching out to Discovery. We will review your contribution in the order that it was received." She cried into a motel pillow that still had a slight cigarette smoke odor after slamming the laptop shut. Scene 2. Janelle's door and Kody's shame. In the meantime, Kody waited with his cowboy hat in trembling hands outside a little ranch house on the outskirts of Flagstaff. Above him, the porch light flickered. It had been more than a year since he had last seen Janelle. He rapped. Slowly, the door opened. Wearing pants and a sweater, Janelle stood in the doorway with her arms folded and an expression that was impossible to decipher. Her voice was flat as she said, "Kody." His voice cracked as he said, "I had no idea where else to go. The children have left. Robyn doesn't communicate with me. I need assistance." Janelle shut the door behind her and went outdoors. "You're talking about money," she said. Kody cast a downward glance. "Enough for a few of evenings. Additionally, perhaps to remove the vehicle from the impound lot. Last night they took it. I was unable to even take Robyn to the drugstore." Janelle's eyes blinked. She answered softly, "I gave you everything. My life's years. My funds. My allegiance. And you abandoned me when you eventually achieved the life you claimed to desire. The large home, the monogamy, the obedient wife." His eyes were wet as he looked up. "I erred. You made decisions," she clarified. "We all did. But, Kody, you were mean. My boys and I felt like we were in the way because of you. As if we weren't truly related. You want to be saved by us now?" Kody took a step forward. "Please. I'm not requesting forever. Simply put, assist me in getting back on my feet." After a moment of hesitation, Janelle produced a folded piece of paper from her pocket. It wasn't money. It was a card. "Homeless intake at the Flagstaff Community Resource Center," she declared. "I will not give you money. However, they will feed you. Perhaps even help you land a job." Her voice faltered a little. "It's more than you provided for me during my time of need." She then returned inside. The door slammed shut. Kody was standing by himself once more. Scene 3. Aurora's startling disclosure. Robyn received a text from Aurora 2 days later. "We must speak." By themselves. Robyn traveled across town on the municipal bus. Aurora sat on a swing in a little park close to Janelle's neighborhood and waited for her. She appeared harder and older. The kind of person who has seen too much. She stated, "I didn't bring Brianna. This is private between us only." Robyn's voice wavered. "Are you alright? Was there a problem at Janelle's?" Aurora looked straight forward. "Do you recall telling me that I needed to refer to Kody as Dad, Mom?" Robyn blinked. "Obviously. I wanted you to feel secure. He loved me like his own, you told me. However, he didn't." Her voice broke. "You made an effort to revise everything. You desired the ideal narrative for the cameras. However, I do recall." Robyn's eyes filled with tears. "That's unfair." Aurora pivoted. "The act of feigning was unfair. To maintain harmony in an imaginary family, I tried to be someone I wasn't for years. And even now that all is gone, you still wish to steer the story. Beside her, Robyn took a seat on the swing. She said, "I didn't mean to hurt you." Aurora gave a headshake. "I understand. However, you did. And now I need room. Actual space. I'm attending college. In addition, my last name is altering." Robyn's gaze expanded. "To what?" "My true love," Aurora murmured. "Sullivan. I'm not Brown." Robyn broke. Aurora moved away quietly while her sobs reverberated throughout the park. The eviction from the motel, the clerk at the motel knocked on their door 4 days later. "You've gone over the weekly rate cap," he declared without apology. "No money. You must leave." Robyn made an effort to argue. Kody begged. The clerk, however, was finished. Silently, they packed up 2 bags, a couple of garbage bags, a toiletry box made of cardboard. No vehicle, no house, absent. No family is prepared to adopt them. Kody gave Meri a call, directly to voicemail. He gave Christine a try, blocked. He didn't even give Madison, Gabe, or Logan a shot. He hadn't heard from the lads since before Garrison passed away. Behind them, the motel door closed. Not even a farewell was said by the clerk. With their few possessions around them, they sat on the curb, the heat from Arizona pressed down. Once more, Robyn's mascara trickled down her cheeks. Kody's hands trembled as he attempted, but was unable, to project dignity. Nobody showed up. Nobody was approaching. In an attempt to sue TLC, Robyn, they had been kicked out of the motel a week before. Now, Kody and Robyn were staying in a dilapidated RV park, sleeping in a borrowed camper from a friend that was parked next to the highway and had no functioning air conditioning. The flimsy metal walls trembled with each passing truck. Robyn was sitting cross-legged on the plastic bench of the camper, looking at a legal website on her phone. "They took advantage of us," she muttered. "Our family was filmed. They exploited our suffering to create an empire. We ought to do something." With his shirt off and perspiration seeping through, Kody laid on the thin mattress of the camper. "Robyn, we signed everything away. Their puppets were us. We threw everything at them. They have no obligation to us." Robyn, however, wouldn't let it go. She called a lawyer the following day, a family rights lawyer from the area with, at best, terrible internet evaluations. She made the following arguments: fabrications of financial longevity, manipulation by production, and emotional exploitation. After listening carefully, the lawyer posed the one unexpected question Robyn didn't anticipate. "Do you have any evidence that TLC behaved dishonestly?" Robyn stumbled. "Well, that wasn't written. However, it was recognized." The attorney let out a sigh. "I will tell the truth. You're not going to prevail. You were paid, you signed a non-disparagement clause, and since the end of filming, they haven't used your likeness. There are no grounds." Robyn's face fell flat. "So we're simply thrown away?" He answered, like everyone else in reality TV. "Greetings from the club." She hung up. Kody remained silent. Scene 2. The argument at the grocery store. Thanks to a few odd jobs moving furniture for a friend from church, Kody eventually managed to pull together enough money later that week to buy groceries. Sweating and feeling ashamed, he entered the store and took only the bread, peanut butter, canned tuna, and instant coffee he could afford. He heard a familiar voice behind him as he made his way to the register. "Whoa. I never imagined seeing you on aisle 5 of the bargain store." Kody spun around and stopped. Christine was gorgeous as she stood, assured. She had artisan cheese, fresh bread, and organic vegetables in her cart. Her husband, David Woolley, was standing next to her, arms crossed and obviously prepared for a fight. Although it wasn't mean, Christine's smile wasn't cruel either. It was knowing. With an almost gentle tone, she remarked, "I heard things were rough." "I'm sad to hear that." Kody gulped down his pride. "I'm doing my best." With a tone of calm steel, she remarked, "I wish you had done that when our kids were younger. Do you recall the day you were too preoccupied with building Robyn's ideal home to attend to Truly's surgery?" David intervened and touched Christine's back. "Come on, sweetie. There are other things for us to do." Christine, however, persisted. "Kody, you choose her. You also let everyone else to drown. You're drowning now. Furthermore, nobody is tossing a rope. Kody observed her leaving. He left with a paper bag that ripped in the parking lot after paying with crumpled bills. Scene 3. Robyn's recent employment. Robyn almost lost it when she learned that a nearby thrift store was hiring part-time employees. She applied, but kept it a secret from Kody. She had to do something, anything at all, to regain control. The work was simple: cleaning the dressing rooms, marking shoes, and sorting clothing at the Flagstaff chain of secondhand stores. Wearing a rumpled blouse from her good years and ancient church flats, Robyn arrived early for her interview. The manager, Karen, a harsh lady in her 50s, narrowed her eyes as she looked over Robyn's documents. "Did you not appear on the program? Sister Wives?" Robyn gave a strained smile. "Indeed. I was that person." Karen laughed. "You know that the TLC funds run out?" Robyn paused her smile. "I'm merely seeking a fresh start." She was given an apron by Karen. "On Monday you begin. Avoid being late." Scene 4. Without Kody, the intervention. One evening, a message thread called "Brown Kids Unfiltered" appeared in a private group chat. Michael T., Savannah, Madison, Hunter, Payton, Logan, and Gwendolyn have been surreptitiously monitoring Kody and Robyn's downward slide. Logan wrote, "It's getting out of control. We have to step in." "Not for him," said Gwendolyn. "For Robyn's children. They are alone." They decided to meet in Flagstaff. Look for Aurora. Speak with Dayton. Offer assistance. Actual assistance, not the kind Kody used to dangle like a show. However, they purposefully left Kody out. They all didn't want to see him. They met Aurora at a peaceful cafe on that day. She appeared numb, tired, and frail. Michael T. touched her hand and added, "We're not angry with you. You got caught up in this." Madison went on to say, "You remain our sister. We have space if you need it. Any one of us." Aurora started crying, but it was relief rather than despair. She muttered, "I thought everyone hated me." "No," Logan replied. "We simply detested the person he made us into." The siblings gave her a hug. Later, Dayton joined. Brianna claimed she would think about it, but she stayed aloof. Robyn and Kody were not invited to the reunion. That was the main idea. Scene 5. Kody by himself in the shadows. Kody was sitting barefoot on the gravel outside the RV late one night, clutching his phone like it was his lifeline. He gazed at Christine Old, a contact he hadn't called in years. He touched the call button with his thumb. Went on to Janelle's name after that. Next, Meri. At last, he tossed the phone aside. He said in a whisper, "God, what do you want from me now?" as he gazed up at the clear, limitless, and silent sky. The quiet was overwhelming. He was not a husband anymore. No longer in charge. He was no longer a father in the sense that was important. He was a relic. By themselves. No one was left to follow him, and he had nothing left to give. Robyn's disintegration at the secondhand shop. Robyn had only been working at Penny and Dust, a disorganized secondhand thrift store outside of Flagstaff, for 2 weeks, but she already looked forward to every shift. Like a scarlet letter, she wore her name tag, Robyn, floor assistant. Most customers didn't recognize her at first. She kept her head down, wore a little makeup, and had trimmed her hair shorter. But everything changed on a Thursday afternoon. A bunch of girls in their undergraduate years entered laughing and started shooting a TikTok challenge. One of them gasped in the middle of a sentence. "Is that Robyn Brown, I wonder?" She pointed her phone subtly toward Robyn, who was folding jeans, and muttered. Robyn stopped. Then, with a louder voice, another female said, "Oh my God, it is." Faking Robyn's previous TLC confessional, she said, "I see myself as the Brown family scapegoat." The others started giggling. They followed Robyn as she attempted to leave. One of them scoffed, "Kody working here too? Perhaps he's sorting bras out back." Robyn whirled. She gritted her teeth and whispered, "Please stop." The choice was made the following morning when her manager dragged her into the back office. "We're receiving too much attention," Karen bluntly informed her. "What a liability you are. Reality TV is not what this is. It's a retail establishment. You're finished." Robyn remained silent. With her pride in ruins and her cheeks flaming with shame, she just removed her apron, folded it neatly, and left through the back door. Meltdown with Kody and the men's group Kody, on the other hand, had started going to a small Christian men's fellowship every Wednesday that was located in a church basement. The purpose of the group was to help guys who were having problems with their faith, identity, and economics. Kody was silent during the first several sessions. He listened to others talk of regret, divorce, and lost careers. However, by week 4, Kody was unable to contain himself. He spat out, "You all think you were betrayed? Try running a large family as its leader. I was in charge of 4 women, 18 children. I was the emotional support system and the spiritual leader, until they betrayed me." There was silence in the room. A calm father of 3, called Travis, cleared his throat. "What occurred, Kody? Wasn't them betraying you? You seem to have forgotten about them. That is consequence, not treachery." Kody squinted his eyes. "You don't know what it's like to be selected. I was chosen to be the head of several families." Then perhaps, remarked a second man quietly, "You confused calling with control." Kody blew up. "I sacrificed myself for them, and they abandoned me." He slammed his hand on the table and yelled. They all left. The leader of the group got up. Gently but firmly, he remarked, "I think you need space, Kody. This group is for healing, not to excuse the suffering you inflicted." Kody barged out. Nobody trailed behind. Meri's interview with the public 2 weeks later. Meri Brown was on a nationally syndicated morning show, sitting on a comfortable blue chair across from a well-known journalist. She was radiant, free-spirited, and poised. The unvarnished, impactful interview garnered media attention. "Escape from spiritual abuse. Meri Brown speaks out," she stated. "I didn't simply leave a marriage. One grin at a time. I escaped a system that destroyed me. I was instructed to make sacrifices until nothing remained. And I was left behind when I did." The host leaned closer. "Did Kody abuse you emotionally?" Meri did not flinch. "Yes." The video became viral. Support, solidarity, and survivor stories were all over the comments. Robyn viewed the video on a borrowed phone in the laundry area of the RV park. Heaving sobbing, she threw it on the concrete and fled outside. At last, Meri had spoken the words Robyn had been afraid the world would hear. The explosion of Dayton had subtly reached a breaking point back in town. In an attempt to escape the spectacle that his parents had become, he had been living with a former school buddy and working part-time at a nearby IT repair business. A replay of Sister Wives that depicted Kody's dramatic adoption of him and his sisters, however, was what finally shattered him. The words reverberated, "These are now my kids. I will give them my undivided affection." All of it, however, had been for the cameras. He gave Robyn a call. Dayton stated icily, "Tell him to meet me at the Overlook." An hour later, exhausted from the hike, Kody arrived. With his arms folded and trembling, Dayton stood close to the cliff. "You told me lies," he replied bluntly. "In front of millions of people, you made promises, but when things got tough, you vanished." "I didn't vanish," Kody demanded. "As soon as the show ended, you ceased to be a father," Dayton shouted. "You exploited us for publicity, for recognition, for a reputation you didn't merit." Kody appeared in disbelief. "When I became ill, I needed you. You never arrived. However, you had time to chase cameras and yell on TV." Dayton took a step forward. He responded, "Stop referring to yourself as my father. That was never you." Then he turned to leave. At the viewpoint, Kody was by alone. The canyon echoed his quiet as the wind whipped his hair. Now what? Robyn and Kody perched on the edge of the bed in their borrowed RV that night. Not a light. Not a sound. In the dark, only the sound of passing cars. The children had left. The funds had vanished. The show had ended. They had lost their power. Their words sounded hollow in the distance between them after previously being amplified by confessional chambers and television teams. "Now what do we do?" Robyn's voice was on the verge of breaking as she inquired quietly. "I'm not sure," Kody said. They sought for one another's hands out of fear rather than affection. In a collapse. In the horrifying knowledge that the empire they attempted to establish on the basis of reputation, favors, and secrets was nothing more than dust. Robyn asks for assistance by himself nestled between a laundromat and a vape store, behind a dilapidated strip mall, sat the neighborhood mental health clinic. Wearing huge sunglasses and holding an old leather pocketbook like a shield, Robyn sat by herself in the waiting area. Someone called her name. At first, she remained motionless. Then she got up, as no one remained to carry her. Dr. Elise, the therapist, was a quiet woman who offered polite inquiries. For the first 15 minutes, Robyn hardly talked. Then, everything spilled out. The good wife was me. I followed his instructions. For the cameras, I grinned. I put up with the hatred. I sacrificed my individuality to raise his kids, and now I have nothing. No deference. No cash. Even my children don't want to speak to me. Her voice broke. I reasoned that if I followed, I would be secure. Dr. Elise gave a nod. To be protected, you gave up your identity. And now, you are the only one left to defend yourself. Robyn was struck hard by that statement. An hour after leaving the clinic, she sobbed more deeply than she had since her divorce from David while sitting in the car. She sensed something that was close to truth for the first time in years. Christine's surprising offer. Robyn's phone displayed Christine's name a week later. She nearly didn't respond. However, curiosity or desperation prevailed. Hello. Christine said calmly, Robyn, let's get together. I would like to speak. A nondescript cafe just outside of Flagstaff is where they first met. Christine took Michael T along. Robyn arrived by herself. Christine didn't mince words. I've been upset with you for years. For the partiality, the deception, the manner in which you kept Kody apart from the others. And I continue to think that you were a big part of the family's breakdown. Robyn winced but said nothing. However, Christine went on, I've come to the conclusion that hate isn't beneficial to my daughters. Furthermore, it won't benefit yours either. A folded envelope was slid across the table by her. In Utah, there is a facility for women's support. They assist women in escaping oppressive religious relationships, emotional reliance, separation. They're not a place to stay. They are essential. I made a donation on your behalf. They will answer your phone. Robyn's tone faltered. What are you doing? Christine gave her a direct glance. Because our children deserve to be healed. And since I've discovered mine at last. But she hesitated as she got up to go. Just one requirement. You never again speak for Kody. Not during interviews. Not to the media. Not to the children. He can obtain redemption on his own if he so desires. If I discover that you continue to provide cover for him. The sentence didn't need to be completed by Christine. Robyn gave a nod. She broke down in tears. Kody vanishes. Kody disappeared over the weekend. No notes. Don't text. His phone went quiet after pinging a cell tower in western Colorado. Robyn went into a panic. Called all of her remaining contacts. Nobody answered. Not my problem was the sole response Janelle sent back via text. A hazy picture appeared online 3 days later. A person on Reddit wrote, Is Kody Brown here? I swear I saw him at a Cortez, Colorado, fringe polygamous property. The picture showed Kody standing with a few other men by a trailer with religious symbols on it. He was gaunt, had an enormous beard, and was dressed in garments the color of the desert. Commenters went crazy. He is regressing, making an effort to restore his kingdom. It's pure delusion. Robyn gazed at the picture for a while. After then, it was erased. 5 days later, she responded in a whisper when Kody finally called. Where are you? His tone was aloof. Weary. Nearly peaceful. I required room. Patriarchy is still respected by these males. Who receive it. They do not pass judgment. Robyn's stomach twisted. You joined another group. They pay attention to me. They know what leadership is. In contrast to the unappreciative woman I sacrificed my life for. The call ended. Robyn's eyes were fixed on her phone. The last straw seems to have just been broken. The confrontation of Aurora. Robyn heard someone knock on the door of the RV that evening. Aurora was the one. Standing tall in pants and a jacket, she appeared older and stronger. Before Robyn could say anything, Aurora started, I want to say what I came here to say. And I'm going out after that. Robyn swallowed her tears and nodded. You constantly said that I had anxiety because I was too sensitive. I needed to pray more. Soften up. Increase your obedience. However, you never once considered the reasons for my anxiety. Robyn shut her eyelids. You instructed me to make up a story about how thrilled we were to have cameras. When Kody yelled, you instructed me to smile. When my siblings detested you, you pleaded with me to stand up for you. I completed everything. She took a step forward. Now that I think about it, though, none of it was love. Fear was the cause. Fear of letting you down. Of being thrown away. Robyn broke. I never intended to cause you harm, Aurora remarked, but you did. I'm now undergoing therapy. And recovery. Without you. She gave a note to Robyn. My phone number is changing. I'll notify you if I'm ever ready to speak with you again. However, I am no longer your emotional caregiver as of right now. She turned and left after that. Robyn sobbed into the Arizona night as she fell upon the RV stairs with the letter clasped to her chest. The last punch, TLC's denial after 2 days, Robyn received a letter at the P.O. box she had been constantly monitoring. Warner Brothers Discovery Legal Affairs is the return address. She opened it with shaking hands. To Mrs. Brown, we regret to notify you that, following a thorough evaluation, we will not be developing any more spin-off content that features you or your family. Sister Wives fulfilled the requirements of the contract that were signed. But right now, we are looking into a brand new limited series that centers on the lives and recovery paths of a number of adult brown children. We hope all of your future pursuits go well. No offer was made. No story of redemption. No time spent on screens. She wasn't simply left out. Someone had taken her place. The outburst, the eviction, the unraveling, the unimaginable occurred before the sun had risen over Flagstaff. The opulent house that Kody and Robyn had once referred to as their forever sanctuary was noisily pounded on by a sheriff's deputy. The resounding hammer of the knock and the words that no member of the family ever anticipated hearing, eviction notice, shattered the peaceful morning. You've got 30 minutes to leave the area. Robyn's cry ripped through the atmosphere. Kody yelled at the officer as he ran out of the corridor, his hair flying in all directions and his shirt half-buttoned. You must be joking with me. A mistake has been made. We requested a postponement. He had not slept, as seen by his bloodshot eyes. It was days since he had slept. The final copy of the order, however, was given to Kody by the officer, who was practiced and stone-faced. It was time for the mortgage business to move on. 3 payments were not made. 2 extensions were unsuccessful. It's too many broken promises. Behind the officer, movers arrived, and Ariana, Aurora, Brianna, and Dayton watched in disbelief. There was no warning. That was the end. On the curb, boxes were stacked. Baggage packed hurriedly. Robyn sobbed as she fell to the foyer floor and clutched the banister as if it were her only remaining possession. Kody was immobilized as he gazed at the mayhem all around him. This is why I created this family. He paced crazily and murmured, "This can't be happening. Robyn, take action. Give your attorney another call. Give TLC a call. We still have a contract, don't we?" However, TLC had also retreated. Silently. Reluctantly. The network had distanced itself following the financial upheaval, the leaked film, and the rumors of misused funds. 2 weeks ago, the producers had ceased taking calls. No bailout would be offered. The kids didn't say anything. Despite the tears welling up in her eyes, Brianna remained silent. Once optimistic about landing a college internship, Dayton is now concerned about where he will sleep that night. Aurora stood motionless, gripping a rucksack that contained everything she owned, her anxiety having sharply increased in recent months. Robyn screamed in pain, mascara streaming down her cheeks. This is not who we are. These are not who we are. We were meant to be secure. However, the world had lost faith in her account of events. Then it took place. The tantrum. Kody lost his temper as they stood on the pavement, encircled by packed boxes and a growing number of cell phone-wielding observers. "You are the reason for this, Robyn," he yelled, his veins swollen and his spittle flying. "I gave it my all for you. I gave up everything for you. Now where are we? Broken. Broken. Don't you dare blame me, Kody Brown." Robyn screamed back. "It was you who declared me to be your sole partner. You were adamant about adopting the children. You assured me that I would never have to work again. You concealed funds from me. Kody roared. You and Dayton's trust fund, along with your secret accounts. Robyn, you kept secrets. The kids turned away in embarrassment. 2 local news organizations' cameras had arrived at this point. Within hours, the video of the fallen reality stars fighting in the street amid furniture, kids, and tears would become widely shared. That picture would come to symbolize the disintegration of the Brown family. For the first time, Kody had nothing left to cling to. No house, no spouses, no profession, no command. I should never have left Meri, he said as he sat down on a box marked Christmas decor and gazed blankly at the sidewalk. I should never have parted from Janelle. However, it was too late. Abruptly silent, Robyn wiped her face and drew in a deep, trembling breath. I'm heading to my cousin's place with the kids. Avoid following us. You've accomplished enough. Each child followed her like shadows as she turned and left. None of them turned around. Kody was still sitting there, surrounded by the rubble of a life based on deception, control, and preference. By themselves. Homeless. Lastly, it was made public. Public shame and desert silence as Kody sat slouched at the curb, his feet inches from a box labeled Kody's office. The Flagstaff sky had become a sickening amber. He remained motionless despite the sun baking the sidewalk underneath him. He was unable to. A combination of embarrassment, incredulity, and the most scathing betrayal he had ever experienced paralyzed his entire body. Long ago, the audience had scattered. The local news vans had finished their work and packed up. With hashtags like #KodyMeltdown, #RobynLeaves, and Brown family collapse, footage of Robyn rushing off with the kids while Kody screamed after her had already received millions of views on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. It was the first time in decades that Kody Brown had lost his stardom. He was a meme. Once more, his phone buzzed in his pocket. At last, he extracted it. Gwendolyn was the one. Are you all right, Dad? The passage was read. He didn't answer. How could he respond? Paydon sent another SMS message. I told you. For her, you broke everyone. See where it led you. The phone was thrown into the street by Kody. He had no strategy. No home. No automobile. Robyn had taken off in the Suburban that was registered in her name. He had even lost his wallet. It must have been packed by a mover. Or perhaps Robyn also accepted it. A tow vehicle finally showed up for the furnishings. The bank had made arrangements for defaulted property to be temporarily stored. Now it was just that. Not Kody's stuff. Collateral only. He spent hours wandering. He was still wearing the shirt from yesterday and mumbling to himself as he strolled along a dusty path behind a petrol station at twilight. The territory he had once promised would be the family's kingdom, Coyote Pass, was miles away. In any case, it was now untouchable. With the assistance of Christine's attorney, Meri and Janelle had taken complete control following a subtle but disastrous legal maneuver. Kody had not been listening. He had been too preoccupied to implore Robyn to improve their financial situation. He found himself at a dilapidated motel on the outskirts of the city. The sort of facility where you could pay by the hour and the front desk was behind bulletproof glass. Thank God, the cashier didn't recognize him. Kody obtained a key to room 4 and gave up a crumpled $20 note he had discovered in the rear pocket of his jeans. The smell of stale cigarette smoke and mildew filled the room. The decaying wallpaper was covered in long, twitching shadows from the lone light bulb flickering overhead. After sitting on the side of the bed and gazing at the broken mirror above the sink, Kody at last broke down in tears. Unlike the staged, camera-ready tears he used to display during interviews. This was not like the others. This was unfiltered. This was the type of sob that broke the ego, brought all the denial into the light, and drained the lungs. I lost everything, he repeatedly said to himself. Everything. For what purpose? And still, Robyn has not responded. She hadn't given a call. She hadn't sent a text. The children hadn't made contact. Actually, since the day Robyn left him, Kody had not heard from any of her children. He was blocked on all platforms by Aurora. He was unfollowed by Brianna. Dayton had completely deleted Kody's name from his college records. They had erased Kody. He took a notebook out of the brown leather satchel Meri had given him more than 10 years ago, the only one he had managed to save. There were old journal pages within. Stunned, he turned through them. He was completely taken aback by a single page published in 2011. It said, "Robyn promises to always support me. She is appreciative, reliable, pure. I think there is no limit to what we can create together." The page was torn out, crushed, and thrown across the room by him. Then he switched to a blank sheet and reached for a pen. He wrote without an audience for the first time in years. Robyn has left. Janelle has left. Christine is doing well. Meri regained her honor. And me? I'm alone. I was mistaken. The sentence has no conclusion. The ink dried as he gazed at it. Then there was a knock on the door. Unsure, he stood slowly. He had no one in mind. Did Robyn do it? A reporter? Is there someone coming to make fun of him? He pulled the door open. Meri was standing there. No cosmetics. No camera. She was alone with her arms folded, glaring at him with a steely, pitying expression. "I was told what had happened," she stated bluntly. He was mute. She went on, "Kody, I didn't come here to save you. I came so I could see you sitting in it. Take a seat in the mess you created." He took a deep swallow. "I told you. Many years ago. All of us did. However, you made your bed, and now it's here. This inexpensive motel bed in a remote location." She started to leave, then stopped. She added, "One more thing. The Coyote Pass land? It is no longer yours. Everything was completed this morning." She left without even turning around. Slowly, Kody shut the door. And he had no wife, no home, no plan. Just silence, for the first time in his life. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.